Morning. Let's see what we got today, bruh. Let's see what we got. I'm a bit late. Didn't get to do my morning routine, but that's fine. What is this? Well, yeah, I need to journal one trade. I'm gonna do it later, probably. Didn't do it yesterday. So let's see DXY. What are we doing? Probably still drawing higher, but I don't know how long lasting this is gonna be. 4 hour candle is good. That is closing in 15 minutes, so we're gonna see. Let me. Friday. DXY here looks pretty bullish still. Looks pretty bullish. We're still respecting bullish order flow. We have this respected, and now we're forming this 4 hour. So we should just be drawing higher, but considering the area we might also fail, but overall we should still continue, most likely 1 hour as well. Asia looks good. I like how Asia looks. It's just that the fact that this range is pretty voided, but overall we should probably still continue. So this can be a valid trending Asia to look to continue higher and look to target buy sell liquidity, but somehow I don't really like that it's voided, so I'm going to be really careful here. The range looks a bit weird, so probably the same with euro, but I do like this range on keeping to target lower. But the thing is, we did take this, we did tap this 4 hour, but I don't think it necessarily matters. This is usually where we see a sweep and just see continuations lower. So okay, this is even better. We even have an initiation here. So yeah, come on, bro. We're gonna see. Let's see. Just ooh, I like the sell side here on UK. I don't really like it. We played my idea yesterday pretty much exactly how I said. The thing is, we just oh shit, what the fuck? There's a difference between UK and DAX. This is pretty rare, I would say. Gold, not really liking it, but we're gonna see if we have anything today. So let's start with DXY. Where's DXY here? So overall 4 hours clearly still bullish. Like, we have very clear bullish order flow getting respected, so very clear bullish order flow staying respected. Gap to gap, it's classic scenario. I'm looking here, generally should be fine on trading Asia here. Generally should be fine on trading Asia here on higher prices, but it is pretty voided, so we need to see sell side liquidity rate. That's pretty much it. Like, we need to see a sell side liquidity rate, which in this case would be this. So we want to see this getting rated, and from here we just look at really nice buy. So this is probably the pair I'm looking to trade. I mean, not DXY but euro. We just want to see the sell side rate, and see prices higher. That's it. It's really simple. It's nothing too complicated. Same with euro. We're gonna start with euro. We're just still looking at lower prices. It's just that euro is kind of slowing down, so let me remove these drawings here. We have a lot of drawings, but it should be fine on drawing lower. I'm still expecting price to come somewhere overall in this area, and from here potentially continue bullish order flow. But bearish trend is definitely getting exhausted here, because we see on the 4 hour we don't have any gaps. So this is a very similar case to how do I say, to gold that we traded this week. So bearish trend is a bit getting exhausted, but coupled with DXY we should get that final move lower, tap into 4 hour FVG bullish, and start retracing towards premium inverse. Boom. Gap looks good here. Gap to gap is pretty clear, pretty straightforward. Gap here, gap to gap, buy sell liquidity rated, stack sell liquidity. This is gonna be pretty nice to have that move lower into this 4 hour. So again, I do really like how euro's looking. Want to see a good 1 hour profile here. Just looking to target lower, target sell side liquidity. It's pretty simple. It's nothing complicated. We're just waiting for the buy sell liquidity sweep. That's everything that we need here, is this buy sell liquidity sweep, and we just continue lower towards this and this and this. So yeah, it's very simple. Let's see, GU is a bit weaker. We're definitely drawing towards this. I would say our next draw should be probably this big ass gap that we have. So this is a very voided area. Definitely for our really strong mitigation here on euro, we don't have that mitigation, so that's why probably GU will continue even harder than euro. So we're gonna look at this. We're definitely drawing towards these lows, so we're already initiating. So GU is very clear, very clear. I'm being very clear. I'm being very strong for our mitigation, strong sell side. Yeah, just really clear. Even though we didn't mitigate that gap, I feel like the mitigation happened here inside the candle. We're already initiating, so yeah, already initiating, already initiating. Let's see how the 50-minute looks. I do like this gap here. I do like this gap to see a potential retest here and keep continue lower. Model is already valid because we have, I mean, we have gap or whatever gap, 4 hour to 1 hour gap, and now we just need to follow. We don't necessarily need to see that mitigation, especially since here we already had a deep pullback, so we can actually use this. It's gonna be a trade I would probably bend my rules a bit on. A trade I would probably bend my rules a bit on and look to trade off this 50-minute to target sell side. Do is a bit better in terms of movement. I don't really like AU. AU is definitely going to start being some bearish intention soon. Definitely going to see that bearish intention soon. It's bullish compared to the other rest of the pair. So AU is the strongest. You were somewhere in the middle, and GU is the weakest. So we obviously want to short the weakest and we want to buy the strongest. So for now, AU does look still pretty bullish. AU looking pretty bullish still, reaching higher, but sellers will definitely step in soon because we are above this massive range high, which was our drawn liquidity. Yeah, it looks like a really strong range here. Actually, this looks like a really strong bullish range, but we already played. We're probably gonna hunt higher, so this is not even gonna be tradable for us. It's a weird Asia, but it does look like a strong momentum higher. So AU we're gonna skip straight out the bat. UK, I do like how we're looking at the sell side. We're probably gonna come back into this order block. We have 1 hour to 1 hour. 1 hour already mitigated this. I don't think it necessarily matters. We should probably still draw towards buy sell liquidity. So this I do like UK. So UK, Euro, and GU is gonna be probably the pairs I'm gonna look at trading today. 4 hour, we don't really have structure, so I'm gonna only use 1 hour here. I really like the sell side we have, and it's really clear bullish order flow. We should reach higher, and that's pretty much it. Asia, yeah, but we will have probably a deeper move here. 50-minute get mitigated, but I still think we're gonna be chilling, so we're gonna look at that. We inverse here. We're pretty strong on inversion. We're pretty strong on inversion. Here it's our key, basically our trend switch happened here, and now we're just following through lower. I don't really think. I think we're gonna have a pretty massive retracement soon on DAX. We are gonna have a pretty massive retracement soon. Price switched structure or order flow. At the top of the range now we just have this 1 hour gap. Why did I say it like that? But yeah, H is just big, unless I don't know, we see a retracement into this, which I would like. So okay, we can actually be trading DAX as well. If we get a retest of that 1 hour that we have, we can still look to target lower. I would say probably this is an easy target, but we have a lot of room to be printing bearish, or it depends. We can also print bullish though, but I would still be inclined towards sells. Gold, I'm probably gonna just straight off skip. It doesn't matter. We're gonna look at I like buy side here, but I'm not gonna look to trade GJ pairs anymore. Maybe New York, but in London, hell nah, hell nah. So let's see Euro. I do like Euro. So I'm probably gonna be more focused on Euro and GU in this session. We have really good gaps here. I'm confident in GU easily reaching here. and that's the final target, reaching towards this. So we have main target here, finally here I'm not really worried about rejection, and considering that we have London open, we will likely come back, but it's not a necessity. But we're probably gonna do that, and Euro's probably gonna sweep here, and we have a really interesting model to sweep. We don't have strong areas of resistance around this, so we should be really fine on reaching lower. UK here, I don't know, I'm gonna monitor, but I don't know about this, but we should still be really fine on targeting higher. Yeah, but it's gonna be a pretty impulsive range coming lower maybe. I mean, now we're inversing here, so we can already short. Like, this is gonna be a demo, just where I'm testing my skill. Already a short from here to target that sell side, because for me it's really clear London's gonna hunt the sell side. I mean, London open is very clear for me on hunting the sell side that we have, because that's where we gotta have that Judas swing and then potentially rise higher. What I don't really like about it is how this overall area looks like here, but we're probably gonna be fine anyway. So yeah, this is what we're gonna look at. But Euro, I'm still waiting on that sweep. We're very likely gonna get it, even though we did have a pretty deep mitigation here. I'm waiting for that sweep. I think we're gonna sweep it. If we don't, sometimes it doesn't sweep, that's completely fine. So these are kind of the pairs that we're looking at, and I'm looking at DAX to come back into the area. I wouldn't say it's necessarily risky. We do have kind of a lot of orders here, but I would say let's look at daily. Yeah, it's slightly risky, but I will say yeah, that is still fine because range is still voided, but we did fill the void. That's what kind of makes it iffy, but I would say we're drawing towards this new week opening gap with this. So we're gonna see what it do, but I do like how we're looking. Big ass trending Asia, to be honest with you. Today let's see economical calendar. We don't have news even today. We had GBP at 9, that's why we displaced here. Okay, we'll see. Euro's has the chance of not sweeping this high, because we are very yeah, we already mitigated pretty much more than half of this FVG, so it might just displace lower, but I don't think I want to be trading this, even if it goes right here. I don't really want to be trading it. So G already looks like it's gonna hit lower, but yeah, we're gonna be seeing whatever happens. Yesterday I did something interesting, right? I learned a very important lesson, that it's not worth to sacrifice kinda your skill. For me, my strategy is my intuition, and yesterday I went against my intuition to test out, to break a bad habit, and I realized yesterday, and I ended up losing. So I did go against my skill. Yesterday I realized that there is nothing that is worth to do to sacrifice your skill, basically. Ended up taking a free loss on AUD USD. Where is it? I shorted around here. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a bad short, but I just knew I was gonna lose. I think I shorted around here, something like this. It was not that bad, but it just had a lot of resistance, and my intuition knew that this is way too risky of a trade to be taken. So I just went against it, to trying to break a bad habit. So no matter if you should not break your rules or whatever you want to call them, no matter what your reason behind them is. Like, even if your reason behind that is productive, like in my case it was productive because I was trying to break a bad habit of mine, but it's not worth doing it. It's just not worth doing it. No matter what, it's not worth doing it, because I just sacrificed 1 hour for nothing, 1% for nothing. I mean, not really for nothing, but it's just not worth it. It's just naturally gonna wait for an opportunity where we have one trade in London that my skill says is okay, and one trade in New York where my skill is okay. That's when I'm gonna break my habit, when I'm gonna naturally have an opportunity of like 2 good trades on both sessions. That's when I'm gonna break my opportunity. Not in London, I have 1 good trade. In New York, my intuition says no, don't take it, and I just take it to break that habit. It's not okay to be trading like that, no matter what. So that's what I realized yesterday. This gap does look pretty good, but see, already got rejected. So I'm still waiting on that buy sell liquidity sweep here. if we get it. And I would want to see that also happen on GU. I would kind of prefer to be kind of shorting GU because it's weaker, and we had news initiate lower. That gap is looking really good. It's just a false move actually, not a yeah. So I mean, for me, it's most of the time even hard to explain how I'm trading, right? Because I'm very heavily, oh my god, oh, okay, already got stopped out. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna try and explain this just to be here on the record, right? um, so this is a bit of a complicated subject, but I'm gonna try and explain it. We have alert set, so it's gonna be fine sitting here and explain this. We're gonna talk about the psychological part. For me, we're gonna try and understand. We're gonna try and understand how intuition works. My edge is reliant on intuition. Intuition. So for intuition to work properly and to be able to express the skill constantly and have consistent results, it is very dependent on your state, on your mental state. What do I mean by that? Not being like unbiased, process-based mindset, it's actually dependent on flow, which flow is achieved to being unbiased, being in a process-based mindset, and having all of those things that are psychological. And us in human nature, is very hard to have a consistent psychological mental state. To have a really to be able to be consistently unbiased, consistently process-based, and not let results affect you whatsoever. What I did before is just trying to force myself, so there's a big difference in what I'm going to try and tell here. To be able to get into that flow and expressing my intuition, I used to kind of force myself to do it. So what does this mean? I used to force myself. I used to focus on the process, force, it's important, focusing on the process so I can get results. This is a very inconsistent state of mind. This method is very inconsistent. You're gonna slip at some point or another. And what I realized recently, and what I did, is you need to ground these beliefs, these state of minds, in what? In identity. It's very, very important. This is how you maintain this consistently, because you become, through identity, you become the person that naturally doesn't care about results. It's a very big difference, right? And this will stay consistent because it's grounded in what type of person you are, right? You're not doing it from a state, okay, I'm gonna focus on the process to be able to get results because this is how trading works. You're just becoming the person that naturally doesn't care about results. It's a very big difference. But when you anchor these thoughts, these beliefs, this way of this psychological states in identity, that's how you're gonna be able to maintain them consistently. And that's how intuition is able to flow consistently, and that's how you get consistent results. So identity is just at the basis of the pyramid scheme. I don't know if anything made sense of what I said, but it's just about changing my identity. This is what I did recently, and you saw that this week I had really good results. Yesterday, what I heard a lot is that not the loss, because as I said, I became the person that doesn't care about results anymore. That is not what it hurt. Yesterday it hurt because I betrayed my identity. Because I betrayed the identity that I'm expressing my skill every day. What is my skill? My skill is intuition. So yesterday, no matter what the reason behind me breaking my going against my intuition, I broke my identity. And that's what I heard. because I went against the person that I already am, and that's what it hurt. This, not the fact that I ended up losing the trade. It hurt because I went against who I am naturally, who I became. I'm a person that expresses my intuition consistently, meaning I listen to whatever the intuition says. Yesterday, I went against what intuition told me. I went against and still took the trade anyways, and that's what it hurt because I went against who I am as a person. I don't know if anything makes sense, but yeah, it's something like for my edge to be able to work, I have to do so much work spiritually, like person wise, because it's very dependent. Like my edge is very dependent on my mental state. It's very dependent on how I feel or in the mental state I come in from in the market. Because why is that? Because intuition cannot flow if you're not in a good mental state. If your intuition cannot flow if you're not in a space where you don't care about results. Intuition cannot flow if you're not focused on the process, right? So now it's just about, and this week we had really good results. I got proof that what I'm trying to do and what I'm doing right now is actually what is gonna turn me profitable. Is building this identity that's doing. What is this? What the fuck? I'm building this identity of a person that. What's wrong? What is happening here? Oh, my bad. It's my. I'm building this identity of a person that consistently is in an unbiased state of mind, and that will allow me to apply intuition consistently, therefore get consistent results. I don't know if anything made sense, but yeah, this is what I've been going through, building a new identity and anchoring all of these thoughts that focusing on the process, not caring about the results and so on, anchoring these in identity, me becoming the person that naturally doesn't care about results. And that's how you're able to maintain that psychology consistently, if you anchor it in identity. So instead of forcing yourself to not care about the results, you become the person that naturally doesn't care about results. You get what I mean? Yesterday I went against that and it hurt a lot. Not because, again, I lost, because I went against my laws, my identity. And that doesn't matter. Like, I needed to learn that no matter what you're trying to do, there is never worth to go against your identity. It's never worth to go against my laws. My laws is I'm focused on focusing. This is one of my sayings. The process is the reward, and I express my skill every single day. Yesterday I didn't express my skill, I went against it. And no matter what you're trying to do, it's never worth to go against your skill, at least not for me. It's like trading with intuition is like trading with a versatile strategy. So yesterday, when my intuition told me not to take this trade, me going against it, what I did is like breaking my rules of my strategy, if that makes sense. Intuition is something really hard to be balanced, and you need to do a lot of shadow work, if that makes sense, and identity work, and there's so much to do. But I would not want it to be any other way, to be honest. Like, this is how I trade. It's looking pretty bullish right now. But yeah, this is just what I wanted to put out there. I'm not here to justify myself, but yeah, we're still doing good. We're probably around -2 on the account, so it's still fine. I'm probably still gonna look to be trading GU. Euro's already looking pretty bullish. Like, at this point, GU is way more likely to be continuing bearish. I mean, we kind of took this low, so I don't know if this is necessarily good that we took this low, but we're gonna see how we behave around the CVG. But yeah, this low first target, this is second, and this is probably final. This is probably for the runners here. This higher time frame MVG is probably for the runners. But yeah, we're gonna see. For me, I do like this. We have this really nice lower time frame order block that we end up holding. And this is news behavior. We gotta be careful at this, because sometimes they get displaced through and sometimes they end up holding. But I think it's fine either way. 50-minute gap. So yeah, we should be probably fine on reaching lower though. See, this is where I would say we're throwing towards. I don't see reason for us to react from here and start being bullish. I would still say we're probably drawn lower. But Euro's pretty much bullish, but I don't. We'll see how it behaves. But yeah, getting back to what I was talking about, intuition is not something easy to be trading with. Like you need to to have to like to adopt this beliefs and this mindset consistently to be able to apply intuition consistently. Like it's not something easy. Like when you're trading a strategy, like a straight mechanical strategy, it doesn't depend so much more on how much you focus. It doesn't depend so much more on your emotional state. If it's a habit for you to stick to your rules, it's gonna be easy to do it no matter how you feel. But when you're trading intuition, there's so many things that are variable, and you need to keep them consistently in check. That's what is hard to trading intuition. Is you need to be consistently in an unbiased state. You need to consistently be in a place of legitimately focusing and not letting results affect you. That's what is hard, because as humans, like, it's almost inevitable for us not to get affected by results. It's almost impossible not to, right? Because it's human nature, so you're going against human nature. But I wouldn't choose to be any other way. It's the harder path. The harder path, of course, but it's my path, so I wouldn't change it. UK is weird as fuck. I don't like what we're doing here. Oh, we almost came where I said we will, but we didn't. We'll see. I'm not really trying to like force anything on DAX. If we don't come probably and retest that 1 hour and this 50-minute, I'm not gonna be trading. I'm still gonna wait on GU, most likely sweeping this high, and then from here just start getting lower. Now we have sell side build, but it's like it's still it's still kind of rated here, but this would be a shallow rate that most of the times I just consider that price does to just retrace, and that would make sense in this case. So yeah. We'll see. For now, I'm still probably gonna wait. Like Euro, I don't like this is what kind of my intuition hinted at. This are not really great Asian ranges to trade when we're too voided around here and too structured around here. This is usually when we start delivering higher. So I do like Jew better because we also initiated lower, so that makes it way more likely to play the range instead of Euro. This is usually a case where this is exactly what I went through yesterday. So let's say our entry was here. Our entry is good here. It's FVG. When price builds too much structure below the zone, like this big ass consolidation, it takes away relevance from this, and this becomes just a void for price to deliver it through. That's exactly what happened yesterday on GJ here. We had a really good entry here, and price ended up consolidating here, taking away relevance from our entry, and that's why price ended up just displacing massively through it. So this is the same that is happening here on Euro, actually. Let me. Okay. So when price is consolidating too much below an FVG, it takes away relevance, and it makes it way more likely for price to deliver through and just have these temporary reactions. So this is one thing that I learned yesterday and I've seen happen a lot of times. So now I'm just gonna be way more aware of that. Okay, but this is looking good on DAX, but I'm just not gonna force anything. Looks like a failed swing. Let me see. It does look decent, to be honest. We just had a kind of swing here that we came into. We came exactly into equilibrium prices, and from here we can be looking to target that zone. But it's already displaced, so it's probably not gonna come into that FVG anyway. So I'm still gonna be waiting on GJ, on GG, on GU. But yeah, it's so interesting, bro. Intuition is really hard to be able to get into the state of using it consistently, but once you do, bro, shit is gonna be crazy. Like only this week 8% in 3 days is crazy. 8% in 3 days is crazy. Like Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it would be 10%. Like if it weren't for intuition and if it weren't for me choosing this system and choosing to trade like this, that those percentages wouldn't be profitable. So it is the harder path, but it's also way more rewarding. Way more rewarding. That's what I'm doing it. Right? It's way harder and way more rewarding. With a strict strategy, you ain't gonna get 10% weeks. Like I don't think so. Like at least in my experience and the strategies I traded, like I traded kind of a lot of strategies. I'm talking about rigid systems and no use of intuition. Pulling 10% weeks is pretty much or rarely, to be honest. Like for me, seeing 10% weeks is probably like the sixth or seventh time I'm seeing 10% weeks. So it's something that can happen consistently when I'm trading like this. Because if you think realistically, not only I'm trading with intuition, but I'm trading a lot of models. That's why I'm able to get so many, uh, such a big percentage, is because I'm trading so many models. These are my models that I trade: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's probably more than this. And it's also Asian plus London range. So like 8 models. That's why I'm able to pull 10% weeks. And I don't know if on a consistent basis, but it's definitely able because this week was proof for that. And they were all on live. Like you can go check them out. They were all on live, and without me, without the use of intuition, you're not gonna be able to trade this many systems. You're not gonna be able to trade this many systems without using intuition. If you have rules for each one, of course I do have rules, but they're kind of like, I don't know, a habit. It's hard to explain, but if you have like strict rules for every model you have, you're not gonna be able to follow so many models. You're not gonna be able to. So that's pretty much it. Like now I'm just focusing on making this consistent, like just being in a consistent state of mind. Like this week was really good, and I plan on replicating it. Because pulling up 10% weeks is crazy. Like even on a 5K account, that shit is 5K. I can legitimately go buy a new car with those money. So I don't really care about money though. I just always cared about fulfilling my potential, and now I'm doing that. Like I've been working all these years to be able to build a system that fulfills my potential, and that's why I'm getting these crazy results right now. It's because I've done that and I built a system that maximizes my strengths and minimizes my weaknesses. That's pretty much it, gangy. They said Euro's gonna most likely gonna be bullish. I don't know if Geo's gonna follow, but we're gonna pay attention to it. Now we're gonna have a VG that is gonna act as our confluence of taking prices lower. I would still like to see probably a deeper pullback, but yeah, this idea is not very great. But we're anyways kind of targeting this. It's around 3R, and final is gonna be at a lot of R, like 8. I'm gonna go smoke a ciggy, and I'm gonna come back. So yeah, this is probably the idea. We're gonna see if it plays out. I would like to see a deeper pullback, because I don't know if we didn't take this high, so I definitely want this high to be taken here. So we're gonna see. But Euro definitely gonna print bullish. We're most likely not gonna trade it. UK also kind of falls. It's already printing higher. Oh shit. So DAX would have came into the descension. It's probably gonna work. But yeah, I don't like it. I'm not gonna trade it. I would have wanted to see that hourly AVG get tapped, so I'm probably not gonna force any trades here, even if it works. But let me think about this. I mean, 4 hour with 1 hour mitigated but entry is really overextended. That's one thing I don't really like about this. We're taking our entry close to Asian lows, but yeah, I'm probably gonna demo it. Yeah, I would have still liked to see a deeper pullback within that leg. So if it works, it works. I just don't think I want to enter around this low of the range. I do want it to see a pullback within overall equilibrium prices of this range and get better R. This is where basically shorting at the end of the range, which is a very risky move. I'm not saying it won't work, but I'm just saying it's too risky for me to take. So we're gonna be waiting on this and going to smoke a ciggy. Ciggy. I mean, the pattern looks good here on reaching lower, but I don't know. I'm just not fully trusting it. Most likely gonna get inverse though. Most likely gonna get inverse, and most likely maybe we're still gonna come into that, but it's just I just don't know. It's I'm kinda not sure about this trade though. If I'm not sure, it's just better off not to take it. Oops. It's like a gap that looks like it's gonna get inversed, and that's kind of exactly what it's doing. So another trade that was filtered, I guess. Very likely. But I'm not sure, right? Like the pattern looks good. How we rated this high here, how we break lower, the gap is isolated, it looks good. The problem what would make this trade not work is the fact that we didn't get really a big as proper retracement that I would like to see, and the fact that we have this overall big consolidation area that can definitely cause a reaction, and it kind of is. So that, and the fact that this was the void that we're trying to fill, and we already filled it, so that's why we're bullish intention might step in. But I'm just not sure about this trade. For me, entry wise, it looks good. What makes me confident is placement, where we are. We're shorting very close to Asian lows, which is something I don't generally want to do. And yeah, hard time frame. So I'm just prefer not to take this, even if it works. I prefer to be taking GU if we manage to break lower. But to be honest, considering how voided the gap is, this is probably a case where we just invalidate a trade. But yeah, this kind of looks like it's either gonna get inverse, or it's either gonna form that fractal high and keep displacing lower. But it's not a trade I would be taking actively, definitely not. So yeah, Euro's gonna print bullish. I've seen this model print a lot of times, like this pattern, and that's probably gonna happen as well on GU because we took this low. So realistically, probably not gonna have any trades there. Any trades in London today. I would still wait for that, but we're gonna see. This is something I want to test. Like this is a case where I got stopped out on gold. I was trying to play a failed swing of the hourly. I entered of the equilibrium mitigation, then I ended up getting swept, and price comes back into the hourly and then goes lower. So I would prefer and wait for that hourly to get back remitigated. Especially, I think that's more fine. And we didn't have a 50-minute VG. We didn't basically have any POIs where price reacted off here. Just equilibrium of the range. But we'll see. This is an interesting case where I'm really curious to see what is gonna play. Really interested to see what is gonna play. Like probably is gonna play. I just don't know how to assess information here, if the trade is worth taking or not. I'm not thinking about losses, I don't really care. I'm just thinking about placement in the range, which makes you hesitate to close Asian lows. And for our pretty strong 4-hour zone, that is, yeah, entry wise, shit is good. Placement in the range bad, higher time frame pretty bad to be taking entries here. I would probably take it around the, so I'm gonna wait for, still gonna wait for that, waiting for this high to get swept if that happens. If not, shit, that's fine. We'll see what it do, but I'm just gonna go drink my coffee. For now, it doesn't look like we're gonna have a lot of London setups. If we come back and resweep the high here, I'm down to be trading DAX, but otherwise not. And the only valid pair that is still valid for me is GU here on a version lower, but it's probably not gonna happen. Since this gap is very, very voided, this is probably a setup that gets invalidated. That's what my experience is telling me. Same with Euro, I see this price just delivering through because we built too much resistance on the lows. So yeah, probably no valid setups for London, but we're gonna see. Yeah, we're gonna see what it do, gang. Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan. have probably taken this, but yeah, it's still kind of weird. Still kind of weird though. I just prefer sitting on the bench on the trade. And yeah, Geo ends up kind of validating Euro probably printed hella bullish. Yeah, UK looks like it's reaching back into these lows, but we'll see what UK does. maybe I should have taken it. I just don't know yet when to wait for that hourly AVG. I think now I kind of realize I thought about it, right? When you should wait for that, where is my zone, bro? Where did my zone go? Okay, so you should wait for that hourly AVG to get tapped when your entry is not high conviction. When entry is high conviction, you can trade off equilibrium level. I think this would be a fine entry. Is a bit struggling here, but I don't know. I still need to see. Geo's also breaking. Geo's looking good here, but I do want to see a bit more confluence because R is really bad. If we look for shorting here, we get really bad R, and our stop loss is not really safe. If we look at it like this, I do like the how we're displacing. I just want to see a bit more confluence for me to be able to take better R. And just in general, like Euro also started displacing, which is weird, but it's way stronger than I'm gonna demo trade it. I think this is fine even to take. .2 stop loss should be at around here. We're looking at a straight 2R 9.7 5.1555, and this 5-minute inverse looks pretty good. So we're gonna see. Wait, I'm on full screen. GBP USD. And our entry would be on pending order sell limit on this inverse 135444. 35444. Stop loss probably around 135540. 135540. Place it right here. Probably gonna place it slightly lower on this gap here. Stop loss should be fine. And we're looking to target. Where are we looking at? These. So 135245. 135245. That's fine. 2R. That's it. Looking really good even on the 50-minute. I don't really see any way of this this failing here. I don't really see. I just see holding because we got confluence. We got this really good inverse on the 3-minute. On the 5-minute, this would be again a short trade, a short idea. We're just looking to target this low. We'll see, but for me it's fine, this trade. We should be reaching towards the range low. It's a bit like I kind of bend my strategy how I usually trade. We do have 1 hour with 1 hour, but I'm trading off a 50-minute gap. It's kind of valid. It's just adapting whether I should trade around here, not waiting for this to get taken. But I feel like a 50-minute gap is definitely fine in a case like this, right? Because this was news behavior. This is news on Geo. We displace, we come back into the FVG, and now we got our signs that entry is valid and is holding. We look to target this, and this is a pretty simple trade. It's nothing really complicated. We're gonna see. I'm down to take this trade. Whatever happens, happens. It's a good trade in my eyes. Euro again. Euro is way stronger. It might hold, but it's not the pair I want to be trading. Always trying to trade the best pair suitable for your idea. So if I'm looking to short, with DXY being bullish, I'm looking to short the weakest pair, always, because it gets you more R and it gets you oh, I even forgot this can be, we can have runners on this, on the 4-hour FVG here away. This can be our final, but I'm definitely gonna be trimming. We're gonna see if I also scale in. If I scale in, I'm probably gonna take my main around here. I'm probably gonna let the scaling run. But yeah, we're looking at, we're displacing, which is fine. I'm still gonna wait on that FVG. For me, still looks good. We just mitigated this really small 3-minute here, but that's fine. For me, the area still looks good, but if we might just displace, that's fine. This is really choppy, so I still think maybe it was the right decision not trading DAX here. But yeah, this looks like it's gonna displace. We were kind of late. Maybe our entry should have been taken on this 3 minute, but when I placed my entry, this 3 minute was already mitigated, I'm pretty sure. But I still see kind of price coming into that, but not a necessity. Probably it's gonna be a breakaway, and probably we just melt. So yeah, we might have just got missed. But area for me is definitely still relevant. Even on the 50 minute, we have a massive inversion here, massive inversion. So we're gonna see what it do. This is very likely gonna become more price retests now, but do I want to be taking it's just gonna be way too huge of an RR sacrifice here. Yeah, it's gonna be way too big. Way too big of an RR sacrifice, yeah. It was kind of my fault that I was late on taking. Maybe, yeah, I should have definitely taken on the 3 minute there. But it is what it is. Not every day is gonna be a winner. Or on the 1 minute here, but yeah, still inversion should have been gotten top, but yeah, we're just going. So we're just going already. God damn, already would have been a TP, but yeah, sometimes it happens. That's completely fine. Yeah, I still do kind of see price coming into that area, but yeah, if TP gets reached before we get tapped in, if this TP gets hit, we gotta delete our order. For now, it's still a relevant area, but sadly, I should have been earlier on the chart and take my entry here on the 3 minute instead of the 5. So that's pretty much it. That's the mistake, but that's fine. Sometimes this happens. But we're gonna see if we retrace now. I'm not gonna be scared of this because yeah, 50 minute looks good. Fractal highs, entry still valid, I would say. Entry for me still stands because I do like how the pattern looks. So here I'm just gonna trust my intuition on letting it run. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, I don't care. I'm here to express my skill, and whatever my intuition is telling me, I'm gonna execute and gonna stand on business. So for me, for now, it's still fine. We're gonna see DAX. Let's see DAX. I still think DAX wasn't necessarily a great trade. It was really choppy here on breaking lower, which was right on my intuition part, because this is not a great place to be entering where we are in the range. We're too close to Asian lows, so that's why it made like price struggle so hard. But this I still like. This is a really nice pattern that we have. This high getting rated high, king high. Usually the second high or the retracement forms around the previous high that got rated, meaning exactly where our entry is. So that's why I'm still trusting it. This is a pattern I see always on price, like a head and shoulder basically. And when we come, if we come and we're gonna get another entry, here's when I'm gonna scale in, and that scaling I'm gonna let it run towards higher time frame drone liquidity, which is that 4-hour AVG that we have here. So yeah, for now I'm still standing. I'm still trusting the trade. Only thing that can happen is we can react off the order block instead of reacting and coming deeper into, yeah, into this 5 minute. But I'm not gonna chase. This is the, it's anyway the RR is stretched here, so I'm not gonna look to even lower it. I'm not. This is the place where I'm willing to take my trade from. If I get tapped in, that should be fine. If I don't, that's completely fine. Both ways are fine. It's a short idea for our main position, but yeah, we should be chilling on reaching lower. This is a very relevant area. Let's see where the 50-minute candle closes. It closes in 6 minutes. So let's see where our entry is. It's kind of exactly on the 50-minute inversion. So entry still stands even if price takes this low. That gives us enough confluence to leave our entry even if in theory main TP1 got hit. So it doesn't really matter. If TP2 gets hit, that's when probably I'm going to delete my order. I do want to see that high getting formed here. But this is just, yeah, I'm trusting it. It's just a pattern I see a lot of times, and this is actually a clean variation of it. Like, it's really clear. how we're forming that, and this is where we usually react off and do that and then come that, but it's not a necessity. It's not always happening, but yeah. In theory we should have already been in the trade on the 3-minute FVG here, but we're gonna do what we can do with the current state. We missed it, yeah, sure, that's fine. That's completely fine. Let's see. But this is, I'm still kind of, intuition is pointing at this order block, but I can't really move my entry. Having stop loss not covering this FVG is way too risky, and that's just the place in terms of R where I'm down to take it. Like if you think in terms of R, it's gonna sacrifice way too much where I don't get 2R on my main objective. So my entry will still stand here even if it's slightly more unlikely to get tabbed. Let's see Euro. Euro is still strong. I see how much a difference it makes in price. How Euro behaves because it's stronger than GU, and how GU behaves. Like GU is already melting compared to Euro. That's why always, if your bias is bearish, choose the weaker pair. Always, because it makes a huge difference in terms of R. UK, I was still watching this in case we react higher. I'm gonna pay attention to, but it looks pretty bearish. Yeah, we're gonna see. DAX, yeah, starting to melt. This was the trade idea that I was contemplating whether I should enter or not. It ended up being pretty choppy, so I'm still not sure. I do want to see it play out if it plays out, and then I'm gonna kind of analyze and study if I should have taken it. But when I don't know, when I'm uncertain what to do, when I'm not sure, okay, do I take this, do I not take it, it's just better off to sit on the bench and then just gain a bit more experience on scenarios like this to know what's the better decision to take. So we're gonna see what it do, but for now it looks like it's melting, but I'm still confident in this area. But yeah, this is very similar to gold trade. When I entered, right, we had this failed swing. I had a 0.5 here, like this, I think 0.5, and I entered off the 0.5 mitigation, and I ended up getting swept. That's why I hesitated, but in this case it was fine. It ended up working, and it ended up being a good choice entering of the 0.5 here, but it's probably because the entry was higher conviction. If we look at gold, when I traded that, let me see if I can find the trade here. The entry of 0.5 here was right here, and the entry was really bad on the 5 minutes. So that's one thing that I'm going to study here. And we ended up sweeping me here, and then I re-entered and took the short. So when it's high conviction, I think it's fine to enter. When the entry is high conviction, it's fine to enter of 0.507. In this case it wasn't. That's why we should have waited for price to retap the 1 hour FVG. It's a very similar trade to the one that we have on DAX, but in this case the entry was way more higher conviction, so it would have made it fine to enter from here and not wait for the hourly FVG to get retap. So yeah, it's just like knowing when to wait for the hourly FVG, which is here, to get retapped, and knowing when it's fine to enter of 0.507. This is a case where in both cases the 1 hour FVG was mitigated during Asia. We see here it was mitigating during Asia, and also oops, what did I do? Here was mitigated during Asia. So both of the FVGs were mitigated during Asia. And here in this case it ended up coming once again to retest the FVG, and then it played the entry, and in this case it just reacted of equilibrium without coming back into the hourly FVG to retest it. So it's kind of a very similar scenario, it's just different place. But I think the DAX trade will work. I just didn't know what to do, and that's completely fine. We're still waiting. I still trust this GU trade. If I'm wrong, that's completely fine. I would say it's more likely to react of this, and if it does, that's completely fine. I cannot take trades like that. Like, the idea is pretty small in terms of objective, and I cannot really take entries there. So I'm positioning myself in a scenario that even if it's unlikely, if it's gonna tap me in, I have the best R. Here, it's too bad, too risky. Like, imagine taking our entry here with a stop loss above here. It's just way too risky. And I kind of need at least 2R on this objective. So the only way I can get it and be safe is here. But the DAX trade is something really interesting. This is something I realize now. And even if the trade is missed, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, the fact that you're missing your trade doesn't matter. It matters what you learn. And this was something I needed to learn. when to take entries of equilibrium in a case where FEG was already mitigated. So it's a very interesting like study or something to develop. Knowing when it's kind of when you have a mitigated FEG, when you wait for it to get retested, and when you can enter off the range that formed on the mitigation. I don't know if it makes sense of what I'm saying. So we'll see if we get tapped in. For now, I'm still confident in holding this dual trade. As I said, I do really like the pattern that we're forming here, which indicates for me that we're going to form that head and shoulder that I always talk about is incoming our entry. I just don't want to see strong impulse. I do want to see price slowly coming higher. Yeah, on main TP is like 5 points, some almost 6%, but yeah, I'm probably gonna trim around here. I do think it would make a lot of sense today to print this much lower and then open the next week, but it's a low probability week. I don't know if we're gonna be able to have that much volatility to print, because the idea here is 20 pips, which is kind of even small for London. We can print like 30, 40, 30, I would say, probably around here at 3R. But looking at this, which is 57 pips, it's okay if you consider New York as well. So yeah, we'll see how we behave. I do want to see behavior, but my plan is to monitor anyways. Like here is where I would at least trim, I would say. Let's see if I end up, that's what I'm curious about, if I end up being right or wrong. That's why like I'm in this space, like this is what I built recently, that identity of not being clinged to results anymore, and that fact ended up making me very profitable this week, just expressing what I know, what my skill in this case tells me I can leave it run. I'm just curious if my skill ends up being right or wrong. That's all that matters for me, and even if I'm wrong, it's okay, right? It's okay. The same way it was with tax. I'm not mad at the fact that I missed the trade. I'm just happy that I learned something. I don't really trust this pattern though. So now if we come here and we have a nice nice like entry pattern after we tap our entry, I'm gonna scale in. It's gonna be a good scale in. But again, we might react of these two order blocks here and not come into my entry, but that's fine. Oh yeah, let me play some music, bruh. Let me play. Nig. Really curious about this. But yeah, my intuition is really confident in this pattern. I'm gonna stand on business, gangy. I'm gonna stand on business, so. Let's see, we're about to get tapped in. Yeah, technically. Oh my god, inverse is dangerous. Hell nah, bruh. No, it's inversion. It's scary. We'll see, bro. What it do for me? Somehow this, like, I don't know how to explain. Sometimes I see inversions, and they're retractive inversions. Like even when price is gonna retrace, it inverses most of the times. But I don't know why this looks like a retractive inversion. It's something I can't really explain. It's just pattern recognition, to be honest. Let's see the 1 minute though, how it look. Yeah, see, 1 minute is pretty slow. Oh, whoa. Hmm. Maybe I should have placed it here. Yeah, it's probably gonna start displacing again. I should have placed my entry here earlier, but yeah. We'll see. It's probably gonna start displacing. Yeah, again, another mistake. I should have. Yeah, or if you're looking at price right now, I'm not tapped in. Like my entry was here. So now I just moved it here because I realized this is somehow something that doesn't usually get taken, but I placed it too late and price would have probably tapped me in here. And now if we break, this is what I would have scaled in, but it is what it is. We're gonna make mistakes. First of all, when I saw the trade, my entry should have been here, which means here. And second of all, the same mistake I made twice, my entry should have been here. And we would have gotten tapped in, but it's fine. Sometimes you make mistakes more than once. But yeah, that's completely fine. I'm not gonna do anything yet. If he wants to tap me in, it's gonna tap me in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So at the end of the day, we might just hold this. If it holds the 1 minute FVG, we might come back and tap me in. Otherwise, we're probably just gonna displace, and this would have been the inversion I would have scaled in on. But it should be fine though. Still should be still fine. So my entry right now is like right here, and my stop loss got wider, but I still get 2R. I still get 2% on the low. I just yeah, it kind of looks bad right now. I still get 2%. I just maximize my Mau. Okay, now I tapped us in. Maybe I should have left the entry on the 5 minute, but that's fine still. I think it tapped us in, no? Yep. This is gonna be where I'm gonna scale in. Oh yeah, we retested the 3 minute. Oh, okay. Let me start the songy. The thing is why I should have moved my entry lower even on the second move is because of the order block. Like when we have an order block like this, many times what price does is not come deeper when in this FVG and reacts off the order block. See, even right now, imagine price starts leaving now, and if my entry would have been here on the high, like this happens a lot of times. to be honest, and we'll see if it ends up being the good choice. I ended up moving my entry lower and sacrificed, like added a bit of like 0.2 or 0.1 risk to my position, which is something I'm willing to take considering the fact that I know that price many times doesn't break this order block. Now it looks like it would, but that's fine. I'm fine with the decision. We'll see. I still do believe in this fractal high. It's just up to if price wants to hold it or not. Let's see what it do. I do really trust this pattern. Do Gengi. Let's see. 1 hour. Where was my TP on the 4 hour? Yeah, that's good. My final TP being around here. For now, it doesn't look like it's reacting, but just trust, bro. If it's not, that's fine. If we taking another loss, that's fine, bro. I'm still expressing my skill. My skill says me we're fine. This is where I'm gonna scale in if we do break. Wait, let me see some. Let me see some. That's a really good rejection on the 1 minute candle here. As I said, I do really trust this pattern. I would, for a start, I would want to see this get inversed. Oops, what did I do? Shape, rectangle. I would want to see this get inversed. If it holds, it's not necessarily good, but it's not necessarily bad either. But I do want to see as I start get inverse, and then soon after that, I'm probably gonna start scaling in. I mean, scaling with one position, and yeah. What's this level? It's 134,900. This level is, yeah. Where was I? 134,900, which is fine. This is a good start. Very good start. But I do want to see a strong displacement. I would want to see this get inverse as well, and we get like a market structure shift here. That's probably what I'm gonna wait for to be able to scale in. That's good. Good. That's a good reaction we got. I do want to see a bit of a deeper or a harder displacement before considering scaling in, even though you could technically just scale in on this. I do want to see the market structure shift here on the lows and then scale in, because we also, that market structure shift also holds a 3-minute gap here, a 3-minute bullish gap that I do want to see get broken through. So it's a bit of more stacked confluence. We had a really good rejection of our zone. I see what it do. It should break lower though. I'm really confident in this pattern right here. And at least I'm reaching towards this low easily. At least for London, it should be easy reaching to this lows. And look, we're getting what we want. So now I'm gonna get ready to be scaling in. Okay, if we even get the opportunity, we'll look like we're kind of melting. So we'll see of the gap formed around here. This is what I want to scale in. I'm gonna delete this because it's kind of annoying. Now we have the market structure shift here, which is the classic market structure shift that just need price obviously to close below. We also have this, which can be careful. I do want to see the next candle kind of continue lower and form this aggressive gap for me to scale in. Otherwise probably not going to, but let's just think in terms of pips. Would be 9 pips for the scaling. 9 pips, I will probably scale like 0.5, 0.6, something like that. Maybe even more, to be honest. How much does a 9 pips? I will scale like 0.7, 3.8. 3.8. Pending order sell limit is gonna be here. 13532, 135,380. Stop loss is gonna be where we formed the high, 135,485, 485, and take profit is gonna be 134,900 if I'm pretty sure. So I'm just waiting for the candle to close. Did it close? In theory it did. No, why is it stalling? Because here on TradingView we see the 1-minute candle. Okay, now I'm gonna place the entry, and we have a pretty big scale in, but I'm fine on doubling down on this trade, and we're gonna probably move. We have 2 TPs here. I'm just confident in this pattern. If I end up being wrong, as I said, I don't really care about whatever the results end up being. But yeah, if we even get tapped in, that's one thing, because it looks like we're kind of melting for now. But yeah, we're like almost 1% in profit at this point, but yo, don't really care about profit, to be honest. And this is main TP, like it's very close. This is a small idea in terms of I don't know, just so side. Looking pretty good here, pretty good. Really massive reaction. Like this is what intuition can do, to be honest. I was just really confident in the fractal high pattern that we had, that is gonna hold lower. That's just basically it. I mean, considering the displacement, we should be probably in the next few minutes be dwelling towards where I have my main TP. It's probably gonna react to the inversion here and not come into our scaling, but that's fine. The small inversion that we have here, because the entry should have been tapped on this candle right here, getting tapped in here. The fact that we displaced is very likely just gonna continue, which is fine. I'm not looking to chase and scale in here. Yeah, it's doing kind of exactly that, but that's fine. I mean, from this point, we should just see that displacement on the next few candles, like next 5 minutes. I would say this trade should hit main TP, which is this line right here, which is this as well. So it should probably do that in the next few candles. And my stop loss was here, so we're getting to around the lows. Boom. And the 3-minute candle looks really good here, but I don't know if we're gonna tap it. Like, by how I'm seeing price here, it's more likely that we just keep displacing. Yeah. The 3-minute candle looks really good, but as I said, just looking at 1-minute price action is very likely not gonna tap that gap. You should probably see momentum out the lows right now. I'm curious about what Euro's doing. Euro, weird. But yeah, this should be really easy for price to reach that low that we have as a target. Really, really easily. Like, no doubts. What is the 3-minute gap? It's in 135,355. Also, it's like, wait, wah. Yeah, it's a really good gap here. Which is, I think, above the, this candle. We're likely gonna come in that 3-minute gap here. The fact that we're reacting is not a worry reaction, it's just that we're gonna come in that 3-minute gap. And what I'm probably gonna do, just to be smart, is just place my entry on the 3-minute gap, which is above that 1-minute candle that we have. Even though, again, I'm still thinking it's way more likely to just keep displacing lower off here and just hit into TP before retracing. Maybe it's gonna be a later type of retracement, but we'll see what it do. I still think the next few candles should probably hit TP. Now, again, not from a bias not from a biased state of mind, but the way we displaced, we did initiate lower, and we're taking this 1-minute inversion as support. So when we do that and we actually initiate lower from it, it's usually when we need to when we keep going lower before retracing, but it's not a necessity, it's not always happening. I see the 5, how the 5 is looking decent. Now we're probably gonna come in the 3-minute, or we're gonna come and retest this. So let's see. But the 3-minute gap is looking really nice here. So we can either, again, react of this 1-minute inversion or come into that 3-minute. I would say, since it's pretty close, the 3-minute inversion, we would probably come into it. And this is where our scaling is. Scaling is stop loss at the high that we just formed. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, maybe I should have had my scaling here. I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that this is a time where we won't come into the 3 minute and we're gonna react of the 1 minute gap. That's what my intuition was telling me, so I should have moved it. I'm gonna move it now even if it's too late. I should have listened to my intuition. Here's what I would have gotten tapped into the scaling, but I didn't listen. So yeah, that's what you get for not listening to intuition. Should have been tapped in. Now it's too late. It's gonna displace, and this mistake is gonna cost a lot of profit, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Because now it's very likely it's just gonna continue lower, and we just got missed on our scaling because I don't know, I listened to logic instead of intuition. I mean, when we get things like this, again, I talked this about before, when we get a 1 minute inverse and we hold it like this, it's very likely just gonna hold it and not come into that 3 minute that we had. I should have adapted a bit better. Instead of placing entry on logic where you usually place it on 3 minute, I should have placed it here on the 1 minute that we already took, but that's fine. Gotta learn. A lot of mistakes today with entry, but I guess it's fine. I guess fine. Now I'm kind of confident in just displacing lower, even though it means we're gonna get missed on the scaling. That's just kind of the reality, or what I've seen in price. Or not, maybe we come back, but I don't think so. We'll see. Maybe we are actually. She was here actually. And scaling is pretty low, but I don't think it matters too much. Because scaling, we're definitely looking to hold more. This is our scaling, and this is our main TP. Main TP is probably gonna be here on the main position, which is the position we got more here. It's gonna be probably around here, and the scaling we can leave if we get tapped in, but I don't. Probably gonna react of this 1 minute. It would be nice to get tapped in, but just like being unbiased and reading price, it's probably not gonna happen. And it is what it is. Sometimes you make mistakes like this again. This is building a mini fractal high, the same pattern that we have here, like a head and shoulder. It's building it here. Yep, that's what's probably gonna happen. These next few candles reach TP1, and scaling ended up being missed, which is fine, whatever. If it gets missed, if it's not, that's even better. Now we're getting that initiation of the mini fractal high, and now it's probably gonna be where our main TP gets hit. It should at least. Let's see what it do. For now, it's building like a pivotal price point, and it's because of this 1 minute inversion. But it should, yeah, it should probably displace from the next few minutes. It should reach TP1. And not tap the 3 minute. Like, see, this is what smart trading is. Like, knowing there's times when price chooses a 1 minute gap or a 1 minute inversion instead of a 3 minute gap, which usually doesn't make sense, right? Because the 3 minute gap is in theory more relevant than a 1 minute. Well, that's not true. It depends on the context. In this case, the 1 minute is more relevant because price took it as support here already. So if price took it as not support, a resistance, if price already took it as resistance, breaking it would most likely mean invalidating trend, and that's why it's respecting it. This kind of bad micro decisions, but I think it's fine anyways. Could have made potentially way more on the trade if we hit TP, but that's fine. Like no one's at fault but me. Even if we do, like I still would make like 2%, which is fine. For now, it's just goofing around. It's not really doing anything, but it's still probably will display soon though. I mean, we're kind of approaching the end of London, and I really think we're gonna reach into this before lunchtime. And then lunchtime, maybe then after we reach here, lunchtime is gonna retrace towards this terminal and then continue towards a higher time frame draw. Probably what it would be most beneficial for price right now to do. Again, not from a biased state of mind, not because I want to see my TP getting hit, just because it makes sense in terms of price action. And the fact that this is a very easy liquidity to get taken. Yeah, let's see DAX. Did DAX go? Yeah, it did go. Yeah, I should have been in this, but yeah, you live and learn. Sometimes, yeah, you don't know. But it would have been in this pretty decent trade. Euro, good thing we avoided Euro because it's not really doing much. But yeah. But DAX would have been pretty clean. It ended up being a bit choppy at first because the area was around Asian lows and we had a higher time frame area. In general, we could offer some resistance, but in the end, this ended up holding this gap here really well where our entry would have been, and then just displaced, and it would have been a pretty nice trade, I would say. Pretty nice trade, but yeah, you live and learn. I'm not struggling right now, but yeah, they still think it's fine. We might use this recent low to come back into that 3 minute. I'm not saying it's impossible, but yeah, you gotta see. I still really like this 1 minute inversion that we have more than the 3 minute, I would say, because it had held it really well on this candle and on this candle, then it ended up holding here. So yeah, it does depend. We're floating like what, 1%, I think. Yeah, around 1% here. Sadly, I moved my scaling too late on the inversion. I had it slightly above. I had it on the 3 minute, which was the bad move. Should have had it on the 1 minute, but that's fine. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes these micro decisions end up costing you, but you should not be mad about it because I'm still in the main position that I caught here. So yeah, scaling would have helped a lot because this was a pretty healthy scaling. It would be like 0.7%, and it would have allowed me to make way more profit, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that I learned, and that here I knew that was the best decision is to take my scaling here, but I listened to logic and took it on the 3 minute. But it is what it is. Like, you should not be mad at yourself for something like this. If this hit gets hit, I'm still gonna make it 2 hour for the day. Even though I could make way more, I could have also made way less, and I could not catch the trade maybe. So still gotta look at the full part of the glass, if that makes sense. Even if this micro decisions costed me profit, I know in the future I'm not gonna make them again because I'm gonna use this opportunity to learn from my mistakes. I do want to see some healthy displacement. That's good. Now it kind of means TP is gonna get hit, but I do want to see more healthiness, even more than this. This is just too low of a resistance liquidity to not reach into. Even though we did reach into this, what I trusted that we're gonna reach way lower is this fractal high. This is a very strong formation. This is a formation of a lower high, and that gave me confidence on holding the trade to reach lower. Again, intuition. This is not written in any systematic approach. This is just written in experience. Because normally I wouldn't take, like, my rules don't really say that I don't look to take trades after drawn liquidity gets taken because it's too risky. But in this case, because of experience, I know it would be fine to do that. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna trim or close full on this low. That's what I need to consider. Probably gonna close full. It's a Friday. Yeah, probably gonna close full out at 2% and be done for the day. Would have been nice if I didn't make that micro decision. I would have had a scaling run towards higher time frame draw, which was down here. But it is what it is. I'm gonna take it as it is. So probably gonna place it at 2R. I think it's gonna be fine for me to take a 2R, or maybe trim. I don't know. You should be holding this gap lower. This micro gap here, or we come back into the order block, or we can also reverse. That's not forbidden. But I would still say we're gonna hold off this order blocky because FVGs are pretty small, so it's probably gonna use the order block to continue supporting price lower. I think we have, I'm not sure yet. I mean, in theory this should definitely be a main TP if we reach into it, so probably gonna, yeah, still closing is probably the best decision. Now if we start, we're definitely gonna come back in this 3-minute and then hold lower because price struggled to break. So when it doesn't have momentum to keep displacing, it's gonna retrace towards an FVG that offers momentum, which is this 3-minute. Or 5, I think. Yeah, 5. Oof. Looks so good even on the 5. Really good FVG that we have here. Really, really good. Really good FVGiano. This is where we scaled in. I mean, where our scaling is. Scaling is not tapped yet, but it looks really well on the 5-minute and on the 3. That's what we're probably gonna do now. So let me do this, and I mean, it's fine. I don't really care. It's a bit lower than usual, but yeah, still trusting that this FVG is way too good for me, so I'm still gonna let it. Definitely, like, the FVG is very, very good, and this is just behavior of price, right? When we don't have volatility to finish the move until sell side, what do? We retrace towards an FVG or a zone that can offer us that volatility to keep on displacing. What is the FVG that we're very likely going to retrace towards? Is this right here. It's very obvious. Very, very obvious. This is what happens. We don't have volatility, we retrace. Then we have volatility to continue the move. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's like running. You run out of energy. You need to take rest to gain energy again to continue running. That's what price is doing. It runs out of energy here. It needs to rest or retrace to gain energy to then continue running. That's how you should see price. I still do really, really trust the trade. This is, I think, normally where my entry would have been because of the formation of the fractal, but still finey. I'm gonna go smoke a ciggy. And still trusting it. No reason to close yet. I don't see any reason why this trade would not work. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just don't see it right now. As I said, probably very, very likely is gonna be price retracing to this now. and tapping our tapping our scaling in. The fuck am I saying, bruh? Which is here. We didn't get tapped in the scaling yet, but probably will. I moved my entry too late, but it's fine. Oh, okay, never mind. We're floating like 1.2 something. Or I guess we can also support this lower time frame or the block and not retrace towards the 5 minute. That's also an opportunity, and we can retrace later after reaching this whole side. This is also a potential of happening. I would have still expected price to retrace now, but apparently it isn't. It's holding a 1 minute order block, which is fine. But yeah, main TP is here, very close to it, very likely gonna get reached. So we'll see what it do. I mean, considering how close it is and the fact that we did initiate, we might hold it or we might retrace. It's like 50-50. I don't really know for sure what it's gonna do. But I would like to see it retrace, because if it would retrace, that would mean it would tap my scaling in, which is on this FBG. So I still like it to retrace here. But yeah, now I'm gonna go smoky, the ganja, the zaza. Nah, hell no, don't do that shit while you're trading, do it after. Da, nu cred. Este. Cablu, da, poate.
Oh my god, it's so scary, no.
Bro, this is exactly what I want to see. Our scaling getting tapped and us coming into that 5-minute FVG. This is perfect. This is the perfect retracement to finalize the move into sell side. It's actually exactly what I want to see here. Now I do want to see price support and inverse, but I really think it's gonna happen. I'm really confident in this trade. I'm not saying I can be wrong, but I'm saying that I'm highly towards this trade winning, and now this is the perfect retracement into the 5-minute, really good isolated 5-minute FVG to finalize the move into sell side. I'm so liking this. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bruh. And again, I'm always down to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna improve, but still really like how the trade is looking. It's kind of doing exactly what I wanted to do until now. It's now, again, it's very likely we're gonna see that move finalize into sell side before lunchtime, which is 1 hour from now. Gotta get him, gotta get him, gotta get him. Now it's very likely gonna fail that lower high and start breaking lower and inverse this. That's what I'm seeing. My intuition is validating it, so you just gotta see. We're holding this 1 minute, so not really mean much. Just retrace over the flow, considering we have a really good 5-minute FVG. This should hold, this should get inversed, and chilling. Shada getting ring. I do love what I do, bro. I love what I do a lot, bro. I just love trading no matter what the results say. I just love expressing my skill and getting the opportunity to be expressing my skill, and in the future getting the opportunity to make money off me just doing what I love is gonna be great. It is already great. But yeah, let's see this 5-minute holding. I'm really confident in this 5-minute. I could bet my house on it. It's just retracive. Now very likely gonna fail that lower high, start inversing, start breaking lower, and finalize the move into main TP. And this is where our scaling is. I forgot to put it on the chart. This is where our scaling is. I think stop loss like this. It's a bit lower, but I'm gonna move it here. And this is our scaling, which we're gonna leave most likely towards higher time frame draw, which is down here on a 4-hour FVG. Oh my god, no, I'm so scared, bro. Just don't care. I'm still trusting it. I'm really gonna get affected by a 1-minute candle that's gonna get waked. I see that continue. As I said, now if we start this, if we inverse this, it pretty much means this is gonna get reached, which means RTP is gonna get reached. I don't want to see the next 2-3 candles continue displacing lower now, because we did mitigate that and we did have our scaling, but it's just the most optimal price, the most optimal POI where we should start continuing the move lower. Or we might also reclaim this inversion and hold higher, but I still think we're more likely to be holding lower from here. Always not get scared about 5-minute, about 1-minute candles. I look at the 5-minute. 5-minute is a retracive leg. We don't see any gaps. We have one really small one here. So what is this? Very likely. What is this? Very likely is just a retracement towards what? Towards this 5-minute FVG. So, yo. And this is main TP is gonna be around 2R, very likely, and the scaling that just got tapped in. If we start running, I'm gonna leave towards higher time frame draw, which is this 4-hour. Probably gonna trim it as well on lows here, but we're gonna see when we do that. But it's just always good to have a plan. Let's see that break now, exactly what we did here. See market structure on the 1 minute, see it here. When it tapped our main entry, boom, massive break. Here, same pattern, exactly the same pattern. Now we want to see the low broken as same as we did here. That's in theory what should happen, and that's what I think we're highly likely to see. But it's always up to price. So our eyes are on this low getting broken and just getting close below. If we do it, it's not necessarily good, but not necessarily something to worry about either. Because I still do really believe in this 5 minute FVG that we have. Don't get scared of 1 minute candles. One big advice. I used to do that so many times. Look at 5 minute for relevance to validate 1 minute candles. Is 5 minutes scary? Hell nah, this is retractive. That's the answer to your concerns. Not any reason to be scared. The 5 minute is just too good. And I'm trusting it. Let's see how it looks on MetaTrader. MetaTrader. Bro, let me select this, bruh. This is our 5 minute. So it's perfectly in it. We were at around 1%, but what would there be a reason to take partials if I'm still confident in this 5 minute holding price towards main TP? No real reason, right? Still trusting it. Still trusting it, bro. I still trust it. We just had this 1 minute FVG here. 1 minute FVG within the 5 minute FVG. So still trusting it. Don't really see any reason why I would be concerned. Even if price is going bullish, it's just retractive order flow. How do I know it's retractive order flow? Is because it's confirmed by the 5 minute. We don't see any gaps. Even on the 3 minute, with really small one here. So I'm still gonna trust it regardless. And whatever they're gonna do, I'm gonna be fine at the end of the day. I don't care about the results of the trade. I just care about what my skill thinks. What do I think about the trade? What is the best decision to do? For me, still live in the trade. If it's gonna get stopped out, it's gonna get stopped out, and that's just live. That's just trading. I still do believe it in, and I'm not being biased. But we gotta pay a bit of attention because we invest this 5 minutes. Unless the bodies close back below it, it's gonna be pretty dangerous to keep holding it. But this still looks like retraceable order flow to me. You might have just came to mitigate break-even orders. Exactly, this is what price sometimes does, but I'm not saying that's necessarily the case. For me, I still do believe highly in reaching lower towards sell side. Might not be the case. This is something, this is very interesting. This might be the thing that we react of, or we just react of yeah, the order block formed in the first mitigation. Not necessarily great, but yeah, still gonna trust it. Now I'm gonna monitor how we behave when if we turn back and retest the 5-minute. If we hold bullish entries once again, that's probably gonna mean maybe time to close. But I still do believe in the trade, even though it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's starting to invalidate the idea, which can be the case, of course. We gotta also stay like unbiased and be able to understand when the trade is likely to fail and where it's invalidating our idea. But for now, I don't know. I want to see how we behave on this if we retrace it before this gets hit. For now, for me, still looks retraceable. We still came in very slow. We just started displacing a bit harder here on the top of the move. So here's where I'm going to pay attention to how price behaves. It's very likely, again, our break-even area is very, very relevant. Very, very relevant by how price reacted and where price initiated the move. So it's very likely that price sometimes when it doesn't have volatility to continue the move as how it did here, it comes for break-even orders. So that can be a possibility. We just came for the zone on where we took our entry. Or we cannot do that, or we can fail. That's also a possibility, of course. Let's see what we do. We did tap break-even order, so in theory now it matters a lot how we behave, because if we need to see if this was a break-even mitigation and we start continuing lower, or if it was just invalidating a trend. But I still do believe in the trade, but it's, even though I believe, it matters a lot how we behave back into this 5-minute FVG. That got inverse. The move still looks retractive, but we still gotta be careful. That doesn't mean we can be careful. We don't need to be careful. Even how much I trust the trade, you gotta admit when there is some iffy signs or some bad signs. Well, in the 5-minute inverse, let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's pretty much right about here. Trust, bro. Like, so this is how trading like tests you so much. When you get moves like this and it tests you, are you trusting your trade, or are you gonna close early? For me, I still do trust my trade, so I'm gonna keep holding it. But as I said, we gotta monitor how we behave on this area overall. For me, the move, look at the move, bro. Look at the move. Retracive. Very retractive, because it didn't no big gaps, just consistent 1-minute order flow and consistently balanced order flow. Now let's see if we start melting, or if we start finding some resistance or support around this 5-minute AVG, but I still want to wait for that 5-minute AVG to get retested. It's about staying unbiased and being in a state where you don't care about the results. That's how you're going to make the best decisions. And in this case, I don't care about the result. I just care about making the best decision. For me, I'm still trusting it. It's just that break-even area is a bit relevant, and we might have just came to it. So I had a lot of trades like this when we just come to break-even when we don't have volatility to print. And now we see that price is starting to struggle to print bullish. So now it's very likely when we're going to start building that bearish intention. It just matters, are we going to follow through and breaking back below this 5-minute FVG, or are we going to find support? That's what matters a lot in a case like this. I would actually pay more attention to this 1-minute FVG here. But I do like how price is looking. This is how usually those break-even mitigations that end up going to TP start. And now if we start rejecting, it's going to be pretty good because we kind of respect that 5-minute FVG. I would have initially said that the 5-minute FVG is very good here and we end up holding it, but apparently break-even area was a bit more relevant than the 5-minute FVG that I took my scaling on. So yeah, that's fine once again. And here now we have a mini fractal high, so we have fractal high within fractal high. So yo, let's see what it do, gangy. I do want to check what the other pairs did. Euro starting to switch slightly bearish. UK ended up melting. DAX ended up pretty much melting. So we be chilling, bro. We be chilling, bro. We be chilling, bro. I still do believe in it. Temporary reaction, we can still fail. That's what I want to see. Price forming that lower high and start failing lower now. Sometimes trusting your trade really matters a lot. I had so many trades that we end up coming to break even to then just finalize the move, and that's important when first of all you don't go break even too early and you don't close out of fear. These are very important decisions to allow, because if price retracing towards your break even area doesn't mean the trade is over. It's just knowing when to trust it and when not to trust it. In this case, I feel like it's still about trusting. Might be wrong, but I still think it should be trusted. I don't see a strong reason to close the trade. We did have that inversion, but it looks like a low term inversion, like a short term inversion. This should come to break even area. So let's see if the move continues lower. That would be perfect. If we see the move starting to displace lower and breaking below this low, that would be actually perfect. Still being patient. Break-even orders, remember, a lot of times price does this. When break-even orders are really relevant, that's when price comes back to break-even. So it's about being patient right now and seeing, and also being able to admit if the trade is wrong or not. But in this case, looking at the 5-minute, even though we have a 5-minute inversion, the inversion is very slow. We see through here. So yeah, I still do believe in the break-even area. If our scaling gets stopped, that's completely fine. I still do think it's worth to be holding this and believing in it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's completely okay. And also this candle is pretty good, but yeah, it does depend. I just want to see hold over. I do want to see this low getting broken. Overall, it's the area we should where if the trade is still intact, where we should start building bearish intention, because this is the most relevant area within the price like that we're trading. So it's definitely the area where, in theory, if the trade stays valid, we should build bearish intention and start going lower again, and confirming that the fact that we just came for break-even orders. So that's how I see price here. It's just about trusting once again. That's a good start. That's a good start for now. now it's not looking great, I would say, but um the thing which I'm waiting for to be able to close this trade is we coming back in this 50 minute. This 50 minute FVG is kind of getting dangerous. 50 minute inverse here, so I want to see price retrace towards that, and then I'm going to consider closing. Otherwise, I'm not going to close. I'm going to let, if it wants to be a loss, it's going to be a loss. But yeah, I still trust the trade. It's still going to not affect me. I still probably we're going to sweep this trend line, come into that 50 minute, and then start going higher. If we do before, that's completely fine. Like, I'm not mad. For me, this trade I was highly confident in, but sometimes even the trades you're highly confident in fails. We ended up reacting off the first objective and not coming to the final, which sometimes happens, I guess. But yeah, I'm still probably confident in this trade. Depending on how we behave here, our stop loss should be protected here. Break-even relevant was strong. Break-even area was strong. We did mitigate with this high. We did fully mitigate this. So in theory, this should stay protected. So we're gonna see if it comes back lower in the 50 minute here. And here I'm gonna consider closing if I see like a 3 minute bullish entry. Otherwise, I'm not gonna close. If it wants to go to stop loss, it's gonna go. Otherwise, not. But yeah, we're gonna be seeing what it do. I'm probably gonna end the stream here. It depends what it's gonna be. I don't really care. Probably more likely to be a loss, or we're gonna close around this area. I don't generally think I did much wrong with this trade. Just sometimes even the trades you're highly confident in will not work. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna see you next time. We're currently at -1%, so yeah, with the scaling, it's a pretty big position. But I was really confident in this pattern, in this FVG here. But the FVG ended up getting inverse, which yeah, sometime it happens. So I'm gonna see you, I don't know, maybe next week. Maybe I'm gonna update and make a stream in New York also to update this trade if it ends up I don't know, still holding or something. But right now I really need a break, so yeah.